Hey guys, it's Karl, and for the amount of time that I've been on YouTube and reviewing tech over 10 years, this is the first time that I've seen two monitors inside one box, because if you want to make a multi-monitor setup, you typically have to buy the same monitor, two, maybe even three of them, as separate units. Monitor one. You can kind of see the form factor here, and we'll get the actual ergonomic stands out and get it set up on the desk behind me. So let's do a bit of movie magic, and we'll probably switch to a couple days from now when I've actually used them in the setup. And just like that, we have a dual monitor setup, and you can see right over my shoulder, the entire thing is powered with the new 17-inch LG Gram. So big shout outs to them for sponsoring today's desk setup. But you can see that the monitors, now that I've used them for a bit, I do wish there were more options. I know that there are some companies like Dell, for example, I think a few from Asus that do package monitors together, but I wish LG, I wish BenQ, I wish more companies just gave us that option, because I think most people are getting to that dual monitor setup. And what I actually like most about this is the stand itself, or the actual arm that holds two monitors. I wish LG sold this as a standalone. It does have a redesigned main arm, and the clamp is slightly larger than before, which I like, but I wish it still gave us the option to be even larger, because the desk that we previously had, it does have quite the large lip on it. And I know some people put butcher blocks for their main desk or some large material. Unfortunately, you have to have something thinner. So we did swap it out to this desk from Ergonofi. We actually love them because they are based in Canada. They're really high quality. This wood in particular is maple, so it kind of fits in to the theme of this studio/loft. And back to the actual monitor arm itself, it actually has this really great articulating T-bar that drops down, which helps you move the stand into different directions. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can have it set up in the traditional way, which I have it right now with the two monitors side by side. I just find that the most natural, I think, because most of us have used that particular setup before. You can rotate them into portrait mode. So I think this is great if you've got a live stream going and you can see the chat on one side. You can even have them both in portrait if you want, or you can try the last way and have them stacked horizontally, which I didn't really dig too much. I still find it a tad bit strange. I never sit back and watch what's going on one screen. I saw a couple setups at CES like that, but it never was my thing, but you always have that option. So like I said, I think the arm is the best part of the setup. The actual monitors themselves, they're both 27 inches. They don't have any of the flashy specs like gaming monitor. They cost way cheaper than anything Apple has to offer. The entire combo is actually cheaper than the Pro Display XDR stand, which sells for $1,000. This entire combo, the stand, the two monitors, comes in at $800. So I think it's some awesome value. If you don't need something with an ultra fast refresh rate, especially for gaming, these ones are stuck at 75 Hertz. These ones are just 16:9 QHD, 5mm response time, and for the regular day-to-day productivity stuff that I think most people do, 90-95% of the people that are building their at-home setup for either work, for school, for just actual viewing, I think these come in at a great combo, and they're pretty color accurate as well. Obviously, they're not cinema grade, but once again, for $800 for the entire combo, I don't think that you can go wrong. So that was the actual dual monitor setup. You can see how the rest of the setup goes to the LG Gram, like I mentioned. I'm keeping it within the LG fam. So this is the 17-inch Gram. The Gram line is known for being super lightweight, as the name kind of implies. The 17-inch model, which I have, is just under 3 pounds. And of course, that varies depending on which model you get. And just because travel is becoming a thing again, leaving the at-home work studio or workspace is becoming a thing, taking a lightweight laptop with you is just so much more efficient. So when I went to Miami, that thing was stuck into the back of my backpack, way lighter than my 16-inch MacBook Pro. I just couldn't even believe the size and the weight difference. My spec is built around the Intel Evo platform, 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gig SSD. For my regular day-to-day stuff, which predominantly consists of a lot of emails, to be honest, for playing the occasional casual games, so a lot of StarCraft 2, this could handle. Video editing at 1080p is fine, and for the most part in Miami, I was mostly doing social stuff, a lot of stuff on Instagram, so this could handle my workflow just fine. What I love about this specific spec was the large display. So 17 inches, it's got an IPS anti-glare display, so when I was done taking photos in the paddock, you can imagine how hot it was in Miami, sun glaring down on me. I would transfer the photos from my camera to the actual laptop. I could work on them, and while I was watching the race, I actually actually had a bit of a live stream going of the race, because when you're sitting down, all you see is these cars just whizzing by you. You don't actually know what's going on. So it was cool to have a functional setup. I'll put that in quotes. Even in the extreme heat, the laptop was able to hold its own, and it wasn't too heavy that I wasn't burdened down, and I could just lug it around nice and light in my backpack. Ports wise, it's pretty loaded up. We've got 2 USB ports just on the one side. If I was being a little bit nitpicky, I wish there was just one on each side. We also have HDMI headphone jack, 2 USB-A, and a micro SD card slot. Because of the 17-inch form factor, nice and large trackpad, and you get the extra little bonus of having a numpad. So if you are rocking this in a setup at home, at say a desk like this, you don't need a dedicated standalone keyboard. I'll touch on what I have in a bit. And if you want to go ultra minimal with no monitors but still want the extra screen real estate, check out the LG Gram Plus View. It's a standalone 16-inch portable USB-C monitor. It comes with a screen cover that also acts as its own kickstand. It draws power completely from the Gram, so you never need to charge it. It's a dope accessory that gives you that versatility of a dual monitor setup without all the extra bulk, the cables, and of course, the mess, which I always clearly struggle with. So if you want to grab this dope little accessory, I'll leave it linked in the bio along with everything else that you saw in this episode as well. The one last thing that I did notice for work calls when I was both in Miami working from my hotel room or even kind of just back here in the studio, this generation Gram has a full HD camera. You can do things like face unlock, and it actually has this new glance by Mirametrix tech. It recognizes your face using the camera and just helps to keep your device more secure and just safer in general. So overall, that is the laptop that's running the setup. You can see that it powers both monitors, which I think is great. The rest of the accessories that kind of wrap around that complete the setup are completely optional. So I mentioned the desk from Organofi. It matches all of this nice wood. All of these desk shelves are also in that same maple wood finish. These are actually both from Grovemade. You can put things like art, even plants, which I still haven't done. I can never seem to keep them alive, or even little desk buddies off to the side, whatever you want to integrate into your setup. More from Grovemade is their new desk shelf, which you can see I've got in white, which is one of their new color options. Even though we do have a monitor arm which is doing all the work and the 2 monitors aren't actually on the desk shelves themselves, I just find that it helps with cable management mostly, and it makes the aesthetic look a lot better, because cable management is one of the banes of my existence as a techie. I struggle with it so much. So those 2 USB-C cables kind of sneak through the desk shelf, so it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You can once again just put extra little desk accessories, extra little bits of tech in or on top of them, whatever your jam is. So you can see that I just have a little Lego Porsche build off to one side. I got to include every bit of Lego and every bit of Porsche in each of my desk setup builds. The monitors, or I guess speakers, whatever you want to call them, are flanking the outsides, which are the Yamaha HS7s. Completely honest, they're just there for the aesthetics, just there to make the thumbnail look better. I've actually been using the latest Sony WH-1000 Mark V headphones. Once again, just another new piece of tech that I managed to test out on my Miami trip, and I can use them here in the studio to kind of zone everything else out, even though Nick right now is on the B cam whenever he starts yammering too much. Just stick these puppies on. I will leave my full review of these link somewhere up here if you want to check that out. And the last piece before I forget, it's just a little felt pad, once again from Grovemade, and that's where a keyboard, I mentioned optional, can go on, or the laptop itself, just to keep it off the desk, just to keep things a bit more tidy. And once again, I think it just looks a bit cleaner. So if I missed anything in this setup, let me know down below in the comments. Really happy with the performance of the Gram. Even more stoked about this new dual monitor setup. LG come out with that stand on its own. I think it'll actually sell really well. It's one of the best monitor yoke stands that I've used, and especially that you have the dual option. I think they're onto something with one of the best designs. It just keeps cable management a lot easier. That little T-bar makes articulation super simple. And yeah, if any of you have ever rocked that dual monitor setup in the horizontal fashion, let me know how that is. I find it so weird still sitting back with the one monitor on top. Just can't quite get into it, but hope you guys enjoyed this quick little vid, and I'll catch the rest of you in one of my next desk setup videos. Peace.